Hey, what's up, everybody? Welcome to Whatever It Takes Wednesday. This is episode number 31. I got my man from Atlanta's shirt and tie guy, aka STG, aka Jacque Morris. Am I saying your first name right? I always say
Jacque, man, you got to get it right, Dan. Jacque.
Oh
like
man. All right, yeah, you can just correct me anytime, man. So yeah, I love your nickname. I think you're the coolest nickname that we've had on the show so far, 31 episodes in. So that's that's really awesome. So we're gonna go right into some of that. So our first question here on the interview here is going to be, who is Jacque Morris, and where are you from? And then I like to go into that STG stuff a little bit too.
Okay, all right. So Jacque Morris, I actually reside here in the beautiful city and state of Atlanta, Georgia. I'm a husband, been happily married. I like to share with individuals for 14 years and counting, because a lot of people are married, but they're just really coexisting, if you will, with one another. Me and my wife, we have been happily married. And then we have 3 wonderful children. I have a 21-year-old daughter. I have a 13-year-old son, whom of which is my namesake, Jacque Morris the second, because, hey, you just can't stop with me. You got to have a little bit more. And then my baby girl, who is 9, actually going on about 29 and a half. That's my little princess. That's daddy's little girl. And so, daddy can do no wrong in her eyes, except for when I'm not spending enough time with her. But, yeah, like I said, a spiritual guy, a family guy, and, I just love to help people and love seeing others succeed and just doing all that I can, to really serve people and display through my leadership the servant mentality, as well as just exemplify the core values and principles that I abide by, or try my best to abide by, each and every day of my life. And the reason I say try my best is because the reality is, at the end of the day, I'm just a tad bit imperfect, and sometimes I just make mistakes. But, hey, that's not going to stop me from trying.
Love it, man. Love it. I could tell you're humble too. It sounds like that you can always, we can always do more, right? Like, that's something I always tell myself personally. I'm like, I could do more. I could do more. We could 10x it, right? Like Grant Cardone says, and things like that. It's like we can always bring it up a notch, right? So that's awesome, man. So where did I don't normally have a cool question like this when I do these, but where did this shirt and tie guy nickname come from? Is there a story behind that, or the one day you were like, I'm always wearing a shirt and tie, I might as well run with it? Like, how did that?
Yeah, I was going to say pretty much, because I started online marketing back in June 2011. And just as I am today, I was then, and that being an absolute sponge, meaning I wanted to learn as much information, I wanted to take as much action as possible. So one of the consistent themes that I found in a lot of the training that I was availing myself of was the need to brand yourself, because when people see the golden arches, they obviously think of McDonald's. When people see the Jumpman logo, they obviously think of Michael Jordan, Air Jordan, if you will. So I didn't really want to brand myself as far as like an internet marketing dad or a stay-at-home dad or anything like that, because I didn't know necessarily if I was always going to be doing internet marketing, if you will. So I started looking at myself, started looking at my life, and I said, well, what's something that I can realistically see myself doing the rest of my life? And I said, you know what? I wear a shirt and tie just about every day, even though I work from the comforts of my home. And I'm very, very comfortable in a shirt and tie, because typically you think of a shirt and tie as something that you have to do in corporate. Well, again, I'm sitting comfortably in my home. I have on my shirt and tie, and this is very, very comfortable for me. Like, this is my quote unquote jeans and t-shirt, if you will, my shirt and tie. This is my comfort zone. So I said, you know what? Everybody else, that they have something that's branded, relative to their work. So I said, well, hey, shirt and tie guy, that's it. Plus, it'll distinguish me as far as individuals in the home-based business industry, because, again, typically individuals have a more relaxed dress code, if you will. And me, I'm just more of the professional dress code, you know, my shirt and tie. And then something else that's relevant to that is I pretty much set the stage for me to always have the opportunity, if I so chose to, and that was to essentially develop a clothing line, which I did create some initial pieces to that, you know, the STG clothing line. So shirt and tie guy, AKA styling today's gentleman. And then ever since, you know, I've just ran with it. So whenever I'm doing business, you know, because, hey, I'm not going to go to the beach in a shirt and tie. I'm not going to the amusement park in a shirt and tie, you know, and I'm not going to play baseball and basketball in a shirt and tie. So I'm not an extremist. However, I am Jacque T. Morris, Atlanta's own shirt and tie guy.
Love that, man. Love that. Hey, I mean, when I first heard your name, I mean, like in that nickname, like, you know, for branding reasons, it definitely did work because, like, I never forgot it. Like right away, I was like, "Yep, I know him. I know who that is." You know what I mean? So it definitely worked. Yeah, yeah. I remember I was talking to my one friend, Ray Briggs. I don't know if you knew who Ray Briggs is, but he knew who you were right away. He was like, "Yes, I see STG in the group there. You know, the group we were masterminding and everything like that." I was like, "Yeah, that's cool, man." And it was really nice to get to know you and spend some time together and all that. But awesome, man, awesome. Yeah, it reminds me of this show. Like when I first started this show, I wanted to come up with a name that people could remember. You know, and I believe in like one of my main philosophies in life is like whatever it takes, right? So I named the show like I wanted to name the show like Whatever It Takes something, and I was like, why not do it on Wednesday? It might make people be able to remember that it's on Wednesdays. You know what I mean? So I was like, Whatever It Takes Wednesday, and you know, I kind of, you know, branded the show like that, and have also branded some of my other things like that too. So I definitely can relate to that, and it definitely works, man.
Awesome.
Awesome, man. Awesome. So what got you into the entrepreneur game? Jacque, was it you feel like you were always like that? Was there something that triggered you to work for yourself? Like, is there a little story behind it? Take us back with that.
Okay, man, that's an excellent question because, you know, I do get that often. And, you know, the reality is I feel like some people were born with that entrepreneurial gene, if you will. Then other individuals, they acquire it and or develop it during the course of their lifetime. For myself personally, you know, just thinking back I'm talking about maybe better than wages. Uh-oh. Okay, man, the video interrupted. Okay. Can you still hear me, Dan? Okay. Dan, can you still hear me? Well, I'm still here. All right.
Yeah, I can still hear you the whole time.
Okay. All right. Okay. I didn't know if you could still hear me or not.
It just cut out for a second. Sorry about that.
All right. Okay.
Yeah.
All right. Well, nevertheless, I'll just keep on going, even if it cuts out. So again, I always understood, or better yet, I understood at a very early age that profits were better than wages. So I also understood the concept of buying low and selling high. You know, again, I just got that. It totally made sense to me. So I sold in you know, any and everything from like fireworks as a little boy. And then I can remember very vividly in elementary school, I would walk because we lived in some apartments in Forest Park, Georgia, and I would walk to the corner store and I would spend like $5 and I would get this big box of raw ramen noodles that had this little spicy packet in it, and I would take those to school again as a sixth grader, and I would sell them for like 50 cents a pack. So I would spend $5, make like $15, $20, and I would literally, you know, sell out of my packs anywhere within a day, no more than 2 days. Then as I progressed to middle school, you know, hey, I started selling they're school preferred. And the reality is that, you know, typically by the end of the day, I would sell out. So again, I would come home with, you know, $30, $40, $50 that I would have been made during that particular day, you know, at school. And then something else I can remember very vividly when I was in middle school. At the time, it wasn't called middle school, but it was junior high. And I was actually cutting grass because my father had he still has his own lawn care business. And so I remember, you know, working with him one day, and he was just, and he just plainly said, he was like, Jacque, if you really, really, really want anything out of life, then you need to run your own business. And I got it. You know, again, we're talking about 11, 12 years of age. It resonated with me. It always stuck with me. So from an entrepreneurial mindset and work ethic, I've always been doing something, you know, even though I had a number of different corporate job or corporate excel at whatever I did. So be it I was working a corporate job, be it I was running my own business, it's always been my mindset, my disposition and work ethic to excel, and do the best that I can, not necessarily in comparison with anybody else, but really just in comparison with myself, which is something that you alluded to earlier, you know, with reference to always pushing ourselves and saying, hey, I can do more, I can do more, I can 10X this, I can 10X this. So, you know, I feel like I was born with the gene, you know, because my dad is 100% an entrepreneur, but at the same time, you know, it needed to be developed, it needed to be enhanced, and then I also needed to build my own personal belief in me being a successful entrepreneur. And so, again, I've just stayed the course because I personally believe, you know, in freedom, and you know that's financial freedom, but even more than the financial freedom, I absolutely love the time freedom. Like, there's no value or monetary amount really that can be put on your time, because once your time is gone, it's gone. You always have the opportunity to make more money. So again, being an entrepreneur has definitely, you know, afforded me that time freedom. And I would encourage anybody to at least, you know, peer into the glass or investigate a little bit and find out, you know, something that they can do, even if it's on a part or spare time basis, as far as supplementing their income and being an entrepreneur. Did you get all that, brother?
Yeah, I did.
Okay.
Even though it cut out a little bit here and there, I appreciate you staying real solid and working right through it.
Yeah, definitely.
So just had an echo there for a second too. It's always some kind of interruptions, man, isn't it, man? With,
hey,
you know,
man, it's technology. That's what we expect. If everything went smooth, that would be too much like right.
Yeah. I know, man. I know. Every day, it's you know, it's something. That, I appreciate the way that you talk, and like I was just listening to you, and like just by habit, like you're like you sell the dream, like just the way you talk, you sell the dream, and it's because you believe in it. You know, I could feel it when you're talking. I could tell like I could feel your beliefs, like while you're talking. I'm like, he believes in the dream. He believes in having something better. You know what I mean? And then like you were just encouraging people to do it, like right while you were talking. And I don't know if you're doing that consciously or not, but
man, it's just in me. It's in me. You know, man, you hit the nail on the head. You said that I believe in the dream, and I know, just like you know, that the dream is real. You know, the reality is we, as individuals, as humans, the way that we were created, you know, we have so many abilities, so many attributes, and then the wonderful way that our mind works as far as the thoughts and the ideas that we have. However, you know, it's imperative that we take action on those, because essentially we can do or have anything that we want, you know, definitely to a reasonable degree, and sometimes even to an unreasonable degree. But my belief system, my mindset, man, it's just literally out of this world. Like, sometimes I'm like, Jacque, do you really believe that? And I'm like, yeah, I believe it. It's real.
That's great, man. Your energy is contagious, man. I'm glad we're connected.
Definitely.
On Facebook and everything, and got each other's number and everything. That's awesome, man. How about morning rituals, man? I just posted something this morning about making your bed in the morning, and it actually goes back to another topic about morning rituals. I'm just curious if you have any morning rituals, and And if you do, feel free to share.
Well, I mean, one of the very first things that, I absolutely love to do, and again, I would encourage anybody to do, is when I wake up in the morning, I have to pause and give thanks where thanks is in order, because, the next day, if you will, is not promised to any of us. So, I definitely engage in prayer, and I'm thankful, for a good night's rest, even though I may have only gotten 30 minutes, an hour, or 2 hours of sleep, but just the fact that I'm able to wake up another day and open up my eyes and literally breathe, I'm very, very thankful. So, again, I engage in prayer. And then typically after that, I'll come down to the kitchen, just kind of, walk around, look around, and then we'll take time out to read the daily text, if you will, because, again, being a spiritual individual, I want to make sure that on a daily basis, at least, again, to the best of my abilities, that I'm reflecting on some spiritual thoughts, and more so for me, God's thoughts, and understanding that everybody's religious beliefs are different. Individuals have theirs, I personally have mine, but I want, again, my thoughts to be permeated by God's thoughts, if you will. So, I'll try to read the daily text or a portion of scripture, again, just to set me in the right frame of mind and to get my day started off right. Then sometimes, not all the times, but, I'll engage either in audio or book reading when it comes to personal development. Then, like most entrepreneurs, man, now once I get down here to the office, it's 100 miles per hour. It's either the phones, it's behind the scenes on Facebook, it's returning email messages, and or, pretty much just mapping out what it is that I need to do for a particular day. I really, really need to get back to incorporating 30 minutes of exercise. I said I was going to start that. I got to admit, I've been slacking a little bit, but we're definitely getting ready to tighten up in that particular aspect of our life. So that will be incorporated, again, 30 minutes of just walking, because even when I walk and or ride my bike, typically I'm doing some type of personal development. So that way I'm maximizing my time, getting the physical in, and then getting the conditioning as far as the mindset is concerned, making sure that I get that in too.
Awesome. Yeah, that reminds me of myself too. Like I have been pretty good about the working out. I've been as good as you at some of the other stuff, the scripture stuff and all. I got to improve my my stuff there. It reminds me. I went to church last weekend with my mother, and
right.
It's funny because I was there and I felt like the pastor was talking like directly to me the entire time, and I'm just like, and you're reading the scriptures every day, and you're probably getting more of that than I am, from that. So. Listening to the powerful stuff. I personally like to listen to YouTube videos. I just like keep it from getting turned off. And I listen to the ones with the motivational music behind it, because I used to listen to the ones where they're just talking like the daily 7 steps of highly effective people, and it would just be all boring, and I'm trying to lift weights and get pumped. I'm like, this is kind of boring. I need something different. So I listen to motivational YouTube videos when I do it. If I can give any words of encouragement or something that you could try or somebody else, it's definitely it definitely helps me get more into the workout. But you're still getting that you're still feeding that mind and feeding that conscious and subconscious mind. Powerful thoughts. So yeah. So again, I definitely appreciate you sharing that about the scriptures and stuff like that. I gotta improve my game there too. I do a full bottle of water in the morning too. I think that's a pretty good morning ritual as well. I do that as soon as I wake up.
I would definitely agree on that. And again, sometimes I do really, really good in that particular aspect because I am very, very health conscious. And then my wife, man, she'll fix this Southern sweet tea. And then my daughter, she'll make brownies or Oreo cheesecake. And I'm just like, man, y'all throwing me all off my game. You know, and they're like, oh, you're supposed to be disciplined. I said, I know, but y'all supposed to also be helping me out. But definitely, water is a staple. Myself personally, I prefer alkaline water. Man, I love alkaline water. Yeah.
I totally agree. I've done a lot of research. I gotta step my game up there too. Thanks. There's another reminder. I love how you say Southern, man. Like you're like, yeah, you know, Southern tea. Like I don't ever think of anything as Northern or Southern, but whenever, like being from the North, like New Jersey, like whenever I hear like Southern, I'm like, it sounds like it's better or something. Like it's Southern, like it's more sexy or something, you know. I'm like, yeah, get that like the Southern hospitality and stuff.
Right,
like, I hear nobody say Northern hospitality, you know.
Oh, that's a good one. That's a real good one. I never thought about it that way. I never thought about it. But,
yeah,
you know,
like you're just like,
yeah,
Southern this, Southern that. I'm like, all right, yeah, it sounds like it's good.
Yeah, one thing I can most definitely say is that okay.
Yeah, you lost me there for a second, right?
Okay, all right, cool. Yeah, so I was gonna say, one thing I can say is that I absolutely love the North. You know, man, I do. I was born in the state of Ohio. I lived there for the first 9.5 years of my life, and then we moved here to Atlanta when my dad's job with Ford Motor Company actually allowed him to transfer here. So we've been here ever since, and you know, again, I grew up here. This is definitely home. However, you know, man, I'll never forget where I was born. You know, either. So yeah, big shouts out to the North. It's just, yeah, you know, we have a lot of Southern things going on here. You know, I tell people that even though, again, I was born up North and I've been here, you know, in the South my whole life. So when I speak, my dialect is definitely going to be laced, if you will, with Southern soliloquies, you know, but then at the same time, you know, I try not to sound too country with that Southern drawl. But the reality is when I go up North, you know, my kinfolks and family, if you will, they're like, boy, you so country. I'm like, look, I live in the South. What do you expect? You know, so yeah, but it's all good, though. It's all good.
That's funny, man. That reminds me of, I talk to a lot of people. They're like, you don't sound like you're from North Jersey. And, you know, I'm a professional networker just like you. And I think that just people just rub off on you. Like when you're talking to people like in every state, like you probably sound real Southern to like other people, I bet you, but I bet you when you're there, you probably sound like you're Northern or,
Correct.
You know, or something else or something. I mean, Northern, I don't know. That's it's funny. It doesn't sound right, but
no, that's exactly right, because people, you know, still here in Atlanta, you know, when they speak, you know, they'll say, or better yet, they'll ask me, they're like, well, you know, where are you from? I'm like, man, you know, like I'm from Atlanta, but I was born in Ohio, because, you know, again, once you've been somewhere, you know, over half or 3/4 of your life, you know, you definitely got to be from there. But yeah.
Yeah, that's interesting. I was like, I bet he probably gets that sometimes too, where people say it doesn't sound like he's from a place, because that's what happened when you're a professional networker, you know, like you are, you know, on the phone right before our call. I thought that was kind of funny, man. But yeah, it just seems to be a pretty common thing. So I noticed when you're talking about your morning rituals, and I appreciate you sharing those. You were talking about like setting up like your day and things like that. So let's dig into that a little bit. That could be helpful to our audience too. Like, so what's your DMO like? What's a day in your shoes like, man?
You know, the reality is it could vary a lot, you know, just because of the extent of my business, you know, the fact that I have team members or even individuals that I work with all around the world. So I'm not an individual that's on the phone all day, but typically, you know, my day consists of either interacting directly or indirectly with people, but more so, you know, directly, meaning I'll be on the phones with people. I'll be messaging individuals on Facebook. I'll meet individuals at live events. And I'll also respond back to individuals via email. Also, you know, whenever you're a professional networker and you start building a large team, understand that with a large team, because everybody desires the large income. However, one of the real key facets that, hopefully our listeners will take away from this is that with anything large or anything successful, you have to understand and appreciate the responsibility that comes with it. So oftentimes I find myself doing a lot of things behind the scenes in order to make sure that my team is taken care of. And then, from there, I'm also scheduling a number of different events or a number of different trips, in different cities. Again, just really seeing what it is that I can do to create leverage in order to help other individuals. And then I have a lot of people that I work with on the West Coast, and typically, I'll speak or work with them later on in the day. So, we're talking about like 10, 11, 12, 1 o'clock in the morning. Oftentimes I'm in the office working with individuals on the West Coast. And again, sometimes on the East Coast. Another portion of my day is also, dedicated to marketing, if you will. So I'm always trying to employ I'm trying to employ different aspects of marketing, but then at the same time, really harness what it is that I know and become very, very, very proficient at it. So I love to create content. And one of my strengths, is creating video content. I can create written content. However, the reality is, at my age, at this time of my life, sometimes I just don't feel like writing a lot. But I do try to send emails on a very, very, very regular basis. At one time, I was sending 2 emails a day because my niche, if you will, has shifted. I more so send a few emails each week. So when I write emails, again, I give like some thought to the title, some thought to, the point or the points, if you will, that I want to bring out in that email. And then I'll write that out, send it to my list, because one of the things, that all of us as entrepreneurs have to understand is that if we can be very, very effective with our communication, be it the written word or be it the spoken word, then that goes a long way as far as building a rapport and building relationships with either our target market, our customers, our team members, or whomever it is, that we're looking to essentially sow seeds of value in their life. And when you sow those seeds of value, the natural law of reciprocity means that those are eventually going to grow. Those are eventually going to come back to you. You may not know when, but again, to me, what I found is effectively communicating on a regular basis is essential, as far as creating success in this particular industry. So again, I have a lot of team members, and I'm either disseminating information to them, checking with them on various aspects of their business or their teams. And again, just seeing what all I can do to assist people. And that's the business side of things. As I said earlier in the interview, having a wife, having 3 children. So definitely, having to put things on pause at certain times of the day to make sure that, my responsibilities in the household are definitely taken care of. And then, I have other spiritual responsibilities above and beyond all of that. So for me, it's always something to do. But then at the same time, there are those time periods during the day where I'm just like, let me just kind of put everything on pause, or let me unplug for a little while and just kind of reset my mind as well as my body. Because, I'll be the first one to tell anybody that, man, sometimes I operate myself like a machine, but even a machine needs rest in order for it to continue to be efficient, effective, and productive. Yes, sir.
Awesome, man. I love the way you close that out there. Yeah, I agree too. I heard somebody say recently, one of my friends, he said that he was trying this method where he was working for he works from home, just like us, and you have to be disciplined to work from home. It's very easy to not do anything, right? Mm-hmm. And he was talking about how he was doing like 45 minutes on, 15 minutes off all day long. I was like, that seems like a lot of, for me personally, it seems like a lot of stopping and starting, but I thought it was interesting. And it goes to what you were talking about this resting and unplugging and plugging back in, and just like a machine. Yeah, a machine, and you got to recharge the battery. So yeah. So you got to have a little bit of structure there, but yeah, I mean, it's easy. It's easy to work when you work for yourself. It's easy to not do anything. It's easy to work all day long, constantly, and not pay attention to your family too. So it's
That's
like,
right. That's right.
it's a catch-22. Like, sometimes, I don't know about you, but sometimes I'll work like 15 hours and not pay attention to nobody, and then I'll be like, oh man, I need to spend more time with my kids and my family. What am I doing? And then I get pulled there, and then I get like, I'm back and forth, like, oh, I got to be a better husband, or I got to be a better dad now. Oh man, now I'm not being a good business person. I got to be a better business person. We go back over here, and it's like, I heard somebody say recently, like, there's no such thing as balance. It's just you in the present, or something like that. And
Right.
And just put yourself where needed. And I like what I heard recently too. That your kids don't really need you that long. You could spend a good hour with them, and they'll be really grateful for that. There's parents that are 6 months, a year, 2 years out without seeing their kids and things like that. You know what I mean? That are away in the military, or for the wrong reason they're not there. You know what I mean too. So at least we're there, right? So awesome, man. Awesome. I appreciate your share. So I noticed that you do lots of live events and stuff like that. So I thought that would be a cool topic to touch on a little bit. Like, so like, and like you were talking about how personal you are, and like how good it is to, be on the phone with your team, and, having those good connections and things like that. And I could tell that you're pretty much the same online and offline, from what I see, and from talking to you offline as well. So what are your thoughts on like live events, and is that something that's part of your weekly method of operation, or your monthly method of operation? Are you doing live events regularly, or have you stopped doing that, or what's your thoughts about that?
Yeah, I would definitely encourage anybody to, attend a bare minimum, like one live event weekly, because depending on what your relative niche is, you may feel like, hey, going out meeting people, that's not my thing. I just want to stay at home behind my computer and just make my money. And that's cool. But just understand that us as humans, the way that we were created to interact with other individuals. So again, here in Atlanta, I do anywhere from 1 to 3 live events. And when I say live events, I mean outside of the house, typically on a weekly basis. Then I have those weeks, just like last week, I did 3 events here in Atlanta. Then Friday morning, I flew out to Fort Lauderdale, Florida, had an event there that evening. Then Saturday, we drove over to St. Petersburg. And then Saturday, after late afternoon, early evening, we drove over to Orlando. So literally last week, I had like 6 live events. And again, I'm not saying that anybody else has to do 6 live events, but I would encourage individuals, again, if not on a weekly basis, at least bi-weekly, or at least once a month, because when you get out to live events and you meet other individuals and you network with other individuals, again, you don't know who it is that could have a very, very, very profound effect on your business, or maybe even your life, unless you go out and meet other people. And there are other successful people. There are other like-minded people. There are people that know more than you. There are people that know less than you. But at the end of the day, as humans, we're all bringing something to the table, because regardless of the amount of years that we've lived during our current life, man, to get to wherever a person is in life right now, granted, hey, like I said, they're still living and breathing. They've created a measure of success. And by means of that measure of success, there's experience in there that we all can learn from, which is one of the reasons why individuals love to buy books and love to read books, because we want to hear, what did other people go through? What were their trials? What were their tribulations? What were their failures? And how did they go ahead and, still create success? So we can do that again, in a different version, if you will, by means of live events. And then also, at various live events, I'm looking to teach, train, mentor, and or coach individuals, and also see what it is, that I can do from a value perspective to help others out at the live events. And then, man, I'm just always looking to network. Like, I absolutely love networking. And when I say networking, that's just meeting, greeting, and learning about other like-minded individuals, because it's very, very easy, to become, I guess, complacent as an entrepreneur, and or to isolate yourself as an entrepreneur. And so sometimes we feel like, man, am I the only one that thinks the way that I think? Or, man, how come everybody else doesn't see what I see? Like, they don't see the dream, that they don't have vision. And so, if you're not careful, you'll start to think that you're crazy because the vast majority of individuals don't think like us as entrepreneurs. But then when you go to live events and you connect with like-minded people, you're like, okay, well, first and foremost, I know that I'm not crazy. I know I'm not crazy because I'm not the only one that feels or thinks and visualizes like I do. But then again, above and beyond that, you have the opportunity to meet some really, really wonderful individuals. Sometimes you have the opportunity to meet wonderful families. And again, so many people on so many different levels in my life have brought value, by means of me meeting them at a live event. And then in turn, again, I'm able to do the same thing. So essentially, growing your network is increasing your net worth, and again, growing your network is really increasing your, influence as well as your family. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, wow, I love that. I didn't realize that you did so many live events, and that reminds me of recently I was just hearing, an empty calendar is like, whenever people have empty calendars, usually that's when they start running into a lot of trouble. So,
right.
so it's like you're like keeping your calendar full, and that's probably keeping you committed to your success, keeping you committed to networking, keeping you committed to the grind, so I love that. And I try to keep my calendar real full. I use Google Calendars, and I just jam this thing up, man, like with lunches and different things like that. I don't do as many live like event networking events as you do, but I definitely appreciate it. And it's something that I notice at live events too, like I just got asked to speak at an event in North Jersey, and it was the first one I did in a while, and it's just like the vibration you feel in the room, right? It's like you just it's like excited energy, nervous energy, like excitement, like everything, like all that kind of energy. Like you can feel the vibration of the room, like you know what I mean. Like it's just it's interesting, the energy at live events, and it's something it's harder to feel, like through the internet or through a recording, especially recordings. You can't. I think it's called like the ether or something like that. Like when it's like live, you can feel things more. You know what I mean?
Right.
So yeah, so I definitely appreciate that kind of stuff.
Yeah, you know what? That really brings to mind a really good point. What you saying that, because the energy from a live event, even though you may be watching it on video or like even on TV, like when you watch a certain award ceremony or something like that, or even the basketball or football game, man, watching them live, like it just can't be, like live events cannot be replicated. It's powerful. And it reminds me of something that I heard one time, like you can't hug anybody on the internet. To hug somebody, you have to, hug them in person. And again, there's a certain energy that's transferred between us as humans when we're able to connect in person, when we're able to touch an individual. So you walk in that room at a live event, man, that vibe, that energy, you're like, oh, shucks, oh, man, it's about to go down. And granted, man, things are exciting on the internet. And, I love to do a lot of internet events, and I bring a ton of energy. However, live events, man, people need to get to live events. That's, man, what more can I say? Get to live events. Some type of meetups, some type of networking events, some type of something. Just get out the house, because we need that.
Yeah, awesome, man. Definitely appreciate your thoughts on that. Can you hold on? Can you hold on 1 second?
Oh yeah, no problem.
I'm sorry, somebody's at my door right now. Hold on 1 second.
All right.
It's a first for everything, man. My mailman was persistent, just knocking at my door. Needed me to sign for a package. So awesome, man, awesome. So yes, I appreciate your thoughts on the live events, man, and that's going to be a reminder for myself and hopefully for some other people out there to to get to more live events. I don't know if you noticed or not, but I'm getting I'm getting married next Friday, actually.
Man,
So
congratulations.
yeah. Thanks, man. Thanks. And I just been so busy, like with getting ready for the wedding and things like that. It's like I've been constantly, like my business has been constantly being interrupted by like, where are these flowers going to go, and and all this different stuff,
Oh,
So,
I,
but I've been looking forward to like after the wedding, like getting plugged into more events because I've been like pulled back from that a little bit, from all that preparation. But hey, that's going to be. Speaking of events, that's going to be an event right there, right?
yes, most definitely. Lifetime event. You'll never forget.
Are you married, man?
Oh, yeah. Yeah. Remember 14 years. Happy marriage. 14.
Oh yeah. All right, that's right. You said that in the beginning of the thing. Yeah, so I can learn a lot from you, man, because I'm not married yet.
Hey, communication is the key. That's what I'll tell everybody, communication, because, throughout the 14 years when me and my wife did have disagreements or we didn't see eye to eye, 9.9 times out of 10, it was a communication issue. Either I thought or she thought, and that just wasn't the reality of it. And, I tell people, hey, if you communicate. And then, as men, sometimes it's very, very difficult for us to admit when we're wrong. But sometimes, as a man, especially in marriage, even though you may not be wrong, you just say that, hey, I'm wrong just for the sake of peace. And there's nothing at all wrong with that, because, man, you think about it. You're marrying somebody. When you marry somebody, you don't want to be you don't want to be arguing. You don't want to be fussing. You don't want there to be discord, confusion, frustration, or anything like that. You get married because you want to be happy and you want to spend the rest of your life with an individual. However, imperfection comes in. However, the quicker we can weed that out, and somebody apologizes, somebody says I love you, somebody gives a big hug, big kiss, man, it's right back to doing what it is that we do, because marriage and life is already hard enough without the discord coming in there. But again, communication is key. It's key.
Awesome, man. Hey, I appreciate that, man. I'm just sitting here like listening to you, like, all right, man, tell me what to do. Tell me what to do, man. Hey, any advice for my wedding day, man? While we're talking about that.
Man, my advice would be to make sure you prepare early. Also, I'm not going to say count on something going wrong, but just be willing to be flexible, because it can be a little tension, it can be a little stressful, but the reality is that, that's you and your fiance's day. So enjoy it to the full, don't let nobody stress you out. Don't let no situation or circumstances, if somebody didn't do something or something is just not so, don't let that affect you. Focus on what's most important. And that's truly, the unification, if you will, of you and your fiance, and establishing that marital bond. And then the other thing that, man, I share with individuals, because there's a scriptural principle as far as making sure that you have God in your marriage, because, the scriptures say that a twofold cord can easily be broken, but a threefold cord cannot easily be broken. So again, man, just definitely live in the moment, and enjoy the moment, because it's not anything that you're trying to repeat or replicate. It's it says till death do us part. So, you got to realize, like, hey, I'm in it to win it. I'm in it for life. And, just have fun, man. Just have fun, which I know you absolutely will, because you're a fun type of guy.
Thanks, man. Thanks. I appreciate that. It's been a little stressful, just preparing for this wedding and everything like that. I can't lie. I just got into this new goal setting strategy. I've always written down my goals and more so writing them down every, like, quarterly or something like that, and trying to like set goals with time frames and stuff like that. I just got into this new goal setting strategy where I wake up in the morning every day. It's become part of my morning or at night. I do it before I go to bed or in the morning, whichever one ends up working out. And I've been writing down my goals every day, and I've been writing them down like not my daily goals. I still have like a memo and like a checklist and all that for my day to day, and then a calendar for that for time management and all that stuff. And I've been writing down all these goals in like the present tense or past tense.
Correct.
And I'm like writing down these goals. I learned to do it like this, and this is like a goal. And my new goal strategy, like for making my goals like more thick. Like I heard, it makes your goals more thick. Like if you write them down more. And I don't know if you ever. I actually did the last show I did on goal setting and stuff like that. And I heard one time that if you write your goals down once and throw them away, you're like 10 times more likely to hit them. Just from that. But if you write your goals down and read them daily, you're like 100 times more likely to hit them. And then I recently I was doing studying somebody in the way that they set goals, and they don't read them once a day only. They actually write them daily, their goals, and read them. So it's almost like more than 100 times fold. It makes it like more thicker, like it's stronger on your mind. So I've been writing these goals down every day, and I've been writing them down in like present tense and past tense. And they've been like way more in my mind. It's definitely been working really well. And where I'm going with this, since we're talking about the wedding talk and stuff like that, is I've been writing on there. I have the best. I have the best relationship with my wife. We're not even married yet. Like I'm just talking about, like I'm writing it down like it's a done deal. You know what I mean? I'm like, our wedding day was the best day of my life. Like I'm writing it in past tense. I've been writing that down like every day on my goals list. Like, looking to attract like the best day ever. You know what I mean? So I thought I would share that with you. It's in relation to what we were talking about. Were you going to say something?
Well, nah, man, just really, that's good stuff, because I'm of the firm belief in this position that the things that we say, as well as the things that we think, in addition to what we write, that truly becomes our reality. So the more firmly we can have that fixed in our minds and hearts, the more likelihood that is to come into fruition, if you will, in a major, major, major way. Yep. Uh-oh. Let's see. Yep. So,
yeah, I can still hear you. I can still hear you okay.
Oh, okay.
Nice. Right. I can still hear you okay. I noticed you dropped something or something like that.
Yeah. Like, man, people, they just call and make my phone vibrate and jump off.
I know you got a call too coming up. I know you got a call coming up. So
I got about, I still have a bunch. A good 5 more minutes here I can spend. Definitely.
Okay, perfect. Just cut me out anytime you want. Because I had a couple more good questions I wanted to ask you, and a couple more things to talk about for fun here. So one thing I like to do every time that I do this is I like to give a book recommendation. Do you have any book recommendations that like stand off the top of your head? Or anything that you're reading right now that you'd like to share? I'm going to put this right in the comment for it too.
Let me see. Where's it at? All right. So actually 2 books. So for those that are in network marketing, like just traditional network marketing or direct sales network marketing, I would definitely recommend a book by Mr. Mark Yarnell, Your First Year in Network Marketing. And then there's another book, I think by Jeff Olsten. It's called The Slight Edge. Typically I come out and most definitely recommend books and audios by Grant Cardone. One of my favorites is the 10X Rule. However, again, there's a lot of good books, and one of the things that I do with a lot of the books that I have is I not only get the hard copy of the book, I also get the audio version. I'll listen to that, at my leisure, if you will, and then the hard copy I'll read, I'll highlight, and I'll take notes. So the hard copies of the books that I have, they essentially become workbooks because, again, you don't want to just cover the information in a surfer style, if you will, by just skimming across the top, but more so, you want to be like that deep sea diver. You really want to delve into the information and really start to connect the dots and see where it is that you can make the improvement, the adjustment, and or the application of whatever information it is that you're considering at a particular time.
Awesome, man. Awesome. Yeah, so I went ahead and plugged those plug those in there. I like that you're a fan of Grant Cardone's 10X rule too. That was a big life changing book for me personally. Just just hearing all those different contradicting perspectives. You know what I mean? I love the I don't know if you like that too, but I love the contradicting stuff. Like when different people, experts in different fields, like start contradicting each other. I'm like, I'm like, let me try to figure out what the points are. That one's trying to make. And I've been actually writing my first book, and I actually did a whole whole section on that about listening to contradicting beliefs and just understanding what their points are, because they're both usually right actually in their point, and things don't have to be black or white, or night and day, like you know what I mean. So I don't know if you can relate to that or not, but I'm going to ask you this. We're only doing 2 questions because you have two. Number one, I want to get this one in before I lose you because I know you're getting ready to get on a call. This is going to be uploaded on my YouTube channel as well, and people are going to be able to watch the recording on Facebook as well too. So I want to know how people, what's the best way for people to get in touch with you, like if somebody would like to work with you?
The best way is literally just to call me directly. My office line is area code 678-565-6414. Again, I'll repeat that. That's area code 678-565-6414. Oftentimes I am on social media. My main Facebook profile is Jacque. Middle initial is T period. Last name is Morris. And that's the Facebook profile with about 4,990 friends. Oftentimes it's at 5,000. I'll just have to delete some people to make room for others. But, I recommend that individuals send me a message, definitely send me a message. And then you can also go to JacqueMorris.com. Again, the first name is French. It's spelled Jacque. That's T as in Tom. Last name is Morris. M as in Mary. ORRIS. JacqueMorris.com. You can put in your email address, and then you'll get some messages from me. You'll probably say I'm spamming you, and I'll say just click the link and no, I'm just joking with y'all. But so
change your life.
Yeah. So again, when you receive email message, when individuals receive email messages from me, they can respond back to those. But yeah, best way, because I'm a phone guy, I'm a personal guy, is just give me a call directly, 678-565-6414. And as for the guy that wears the shirt and tie.
Do people ever call you, man, and ask you that? Like, I like to talk to the guy that wears a shirt and tie, or...
Nah, they don't really say that, but sometimes people are surprised when I pick up the phone. They're like, "Oh man, I didn't really think you would pick up the phone. Oh, you are real." I'm like, "Yeah." Last I checked, I was real. Still brown skin, standing about 6'1". So yeah, I'm pretty real. Yeah. So yeah. Because people, they watch your YouTube videos or they see you on social media, and a lot more people are watching you than what you actually realize. And then when you have the opportunity to connect with individuals, again, you just make it more personal. Like you said in the very beginning of the interview, if you see me online on video, you hear me on the phone, or you catch me offline or in person, belly to belly, whatever terminology you want to use, I'm the same way. I'm high energy. I'm real personal. And sometimes I tell a lot of corny jokes. So if they don't laugh, I'll laugh. No, I'm just joking.
Love it, man. Love it. Can we hear one of those corny jokes before we close this out?
Oh, no. It's not anything like
They got to come to you? They got to come to you as you go?
Yeah. I was just going to say, just do the
That's how mine are, too. I don't got any, like, buy the chicken cross the road or something like that.
No. I'm not a jokester like that.
That's too funny.
For example, last night I was doing a Facebook Live, and I was here, and it was late in the evening. It was about 7:30, and so I was telling individuals, I was like, "Hey, I gotta hurry up and end this Facebook Live because I got a eclipse going on here in the room, and if I keep on going, y'all not going to be able to see me because I'm brown skinned. But then again, maybe you'll see my teeth." And then I was like, "Geez," and so just a little corny joke like that because that was yesterday, and so we had the solar eclipse and. Just all that stuff. So it was just that's what.
Yeah, I can relate to that joke. I was telling somebody I I had a solar eclipse in my business the other day because one of my workers messed something up. I had to go in there and fix it.
Right. Definitely.
Similar joke. So, all right, man. So we're at the top of the hour, man.
Okay.
I just wanted to, thank you so much for coming on, man. I appreciate you, and I feel like I got a higher awareness of some things that I could work on myself. I always enjoy, coming on here and just growing with people like yourself that I consider high quality and people that I can learn from personally. And I know that a lot of other people out there can learn a lot from you too. I encourage people to, to get with you and at least network, even, what I mean?
Definitely.
Whether it's, right at the back. So thank you so much for coming on, man. Did you have any last words or anything like that you wanted to,
I just want to say, again, I appreciate you inviting me out here. It's a pleasure as well as a privilege, and wish you much success, obviously, in business, as a fellow entrepreneur. And then as you move forward and you embark upon the married life, if you will, definitely want to wish you success there. And, man, all the many blessings. And, me, hey, I'm an open book. You ever got any questions about anything, or, just want to hear a different perspective, because, again, we are men, we are entrepreneurs. I'm always willing to share. And just for those individuals that may be looking, at this particular recording, I just want to share with you individuals, just always look to sow seeds of value in other people's lives. Ask people, genuinely and sincerely, how can I help you? Or, what can I do for you? Because a lot of times in this world that we live in is so selfish and self-centered. Everybody is always looking for what they can get out of other people, but instead look for what you can pour into other individuals. So that's simply, all I would like to share. And again, I hope whomever watches this definitely get some value and something that they're able to, realistically apply to their life and benefit from. And in an event that you do, hey, share that with me, because I always love to get feedback. Sometimes I think that, my words just simply fall on deaf ears. But when people come back and say, Jacque, you taught me this, or you shared that and it worked, or it helped out with this, again, that truly warms my heart above and beyond any type of monetary value. Because, I'll just end this way and say another principle, scripture, and a value that I live by in my life is that there's more value in giving, or better yet, there's more happiness in giving than there is in receiving. So truly, hopefully I gave everybody something today.
Man, great, man, great closing words. And I have like a million things I could just say about what you just said, but we're gonna that's how you're talking to someone that's like you. You're just like, ready to chime in and start talking about all this stuff. Right. But I know you got to hop on a call, man. Thank you so much for coming on, and thank you for being grateful like you are, and and appreciate you coming on the call too. I appreciate that double appreciation. And thank you everybody for watching, whether you watch it live or whether you watch the recording here on Facebook or whether you see the recording on YouTube. Thanks for tuning in. Whatever it takes. Wednesday, episode number 31, and we'll see you on the next hangout. Bye for now.
All right, have a good one.